I started this channel exactly a year ago with my predictions for the plot of Spider-Man Brand New Day after the official title announcement, casting rumors and little comic references, and I'm very happy to say I was completely wrong, and am happy I was. Now, before I start, this is going to be a full spoiler review and breakdown of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Hey, here we go. Alright, let's start with the opening montage. I believe it was fairly done. Lots of classic Spider-Man villains that we haven't seen in the MCU before. The montage showed how much our boy has evolved over these years, fighting these villains, at the same time keeping tabs on Ned and MJ as they progress through their college life. Speaking of these villains, unfortunately, we already saw a lot of them in the trailers and TV spots. And the biggest victim of all, I believe, is Tombstone. My man barely got seconds of screen time in the movie, which is a shame. I really wanted more of him in this movie. Anyway, at this point, we see Peter completely isolated, dedicating all of his time to being Spider-Man over Peter Parker, which is the core theme of the movie, and it was established very smartly and efficiently through this very montage. We also see him constantly interacting with a new character, Jean DeWolf, who, maybe this is not a fair comparison, but maybe sort of filling the gap of Aunt May, a caring figure in Peter's life, which was very nice to see. Very immediately after the sequence, we just jumped towards the tank chase sequence, and I gotta say, it looked really good on the screen, big screen. Obviously, the highlight of this sequence being John Bernthal's Punisher. And yeah, I mean, as expected, without any detailed explanation, we just see these characters jumping into the movie, interacting with each other. And yes, we did get an acknowledgement of how they met first time with this Staten Island incident, which kind of reminds me of that whole Budapest thing with Hawkeye and Black Widow in the previous Avengers movies. But I really hope they acknowledge the Staten Island thing in the future, because I just love this duo in the movie, man. And I want to see these two team up again in the future. We're then introduced to the villain, who's shown as this mind-hopping thing, just swapping body to body, except Peter, which is a pretty interesting concept for a Spider-Man villain, not something we have seen before, and the way it was executed, or at least initiated, was very well done. We see Peter contacting Yelena to understand more about this body-hopping mystery, and I got to say, I'm not exactly a huge fan of the whole Yelena thing, or at least the way it was executed. I mean, why not just have Spider-Man jump straight into the new Avengers Tower, ask for the information, and just do the thing that he does later in this movie? I didn't feel there was a need for the whole bathtub sequence thing. Looked kind of very out of place, in my opinion. But it's fine. It doesn't ruin the entire movie for me. Anyway, we see Peter go to DODC, talk to the guy in charge, learn more about this villain, and I mean, even at this point, it kind of feels obvious that these DODC guys are not inherently good. It felt a little flat for me that Peter was able to trust these guys so easily without exploring the possibility that maybe they have an ulterior motive. We now see a little bit of Peter Parker in the movie as he decides to follow Ned meet MJ at a party, see that she has moved on with her life. And well, this is the part where we see the physical transformations begin. Peter completely blacks out and wakes up in this cocoon of webs. The organic webs are finally here. You see, Peter resisted and eventually made peace with it, because so did Peter too. And I gotta say, this was one of the most interesting subplots of the movie that I wanted to see more of, which for some reason is not explored enough as the movie goes on, or becomes very convenient when it needs to be convenient. For example, we see Peter experimenting with his organic webbing, singing around rooftops like Tobey's Spider-Man did. We see him shout web on web off to control this thing. And as the movie goes on, he doesn't need to do this anymore, which feels a little convenient, because not a lot of time passes on till the end of this movie from this moment. And we don't get to see further evolution of this enhanced, mutated Peter Parker ahead in the movie, which I felt was a little disappointing for me. I wish they explored this more, because I heard they were going the man-spider route in this movie. But they couldn't, because it would scare the children. which kind of bumps me out a little because obviously we're not getting Venom in this movie, but we saw glimpses of what a symbiote inside this Peter's body could do or look like. So, an alternative of that on a physical scale could have looked really incredible. Anyway, we see this enraged, mutated Peter Parker fight Scorpion, kick the shit out of him, and unfortunately injure a police officer in the process, which was very tough to watch. But at this moment, Peter realizes that he has to do something to take control of this mutation before it takes control of him. And that's where he decides to meet Bruce Banner, understand more about suppression inhibitor devices that could keep mutations in check, creating his own version of inhibitor, which in a retrospect is a very funny concept to me. Because if I'm seeing things right, 5 to 10 years later when X-Men are fully established into the MCU and we see those power-dampening collars and chips on mutants, it would have been our Peter Parker who would have invented them. Or maybe just, I'm jumping too far ahead, we see this body-hopping thing bully Peter a little more and eventually takes over MJ. And I got to say, this was a very well-done sequence, but Peter just breaks down and confesses his love for MJ. He's convinced that she has remembered him, only for us to realize it was Jean all along. And that was just insane. It was a punch in the gut. Call it whatever you want, but it was done so well. And it was so effective that we finally see Peter down on his knees, telling this thing that you win. Which is where we see the face of this person controlling this thing. And this is sort of where the interval happens for this movie. Fortunately, Peter is able to capture an image of her, conduct an analysis, and this is where we are officially revealed that this is indeed Jean Grey, the worst kept secret in Hollywood. And pretty much after this moment, we see a lot of weight of this movie being transferred to Jean Grey. Her motives, her backstory, and everything. Which is a little weird for me. Seeing this X-Men character as a villain for a Spider-Man film, not something that I imagined would be the case after finishing No Way Home. But here we are. And I believe there are a lot of aspects of it that works and just doesn't work. So, one of the things that worked very well for me with Jean is how they sort of use her as a plot device to cause these very cool moments like the Hulk fight. And the parts where she mind hops Punisher, and dear God, sassy Punisher wasn't something that I thought I would ever need to see in my life. But that was just an incredible thing to watch, man, and I loved it. The Spider-Man versus Hulk sequence. Yeah, it didn't feel that long or that effective. I just don't think it got a proper conclusion because we just see Bruce Banner being in the ambulance. We see a few news headlines that he had lost it. And that's it, which makes me a little sad for Banner, to be honest. Anyway, another thing that worked for me is that Jean's trajectory in this movie was very similar to Peter Parker. Someone with constantly evolving powers, having no sense of direction where to go, or the guidance that they desperately need. Not to mention the great acting by Sadie Sink and a very good screen presence, which makes me very confident that she'll do great in the upcoming MCU X-Men movies. But there are a lot of things that did not work for me. Like this odd concept of having an X-Men member as a Spider-Man enemy in a movie where we were promised a classic Spider-Man story. It just makes it a little hard to make a lot of sense in the grand retrospect of all the Spider-Man movies that have released so far. And this very thing has also been the main point of criticism with a lot of people, even the Spider-Man fans that have watched the movie, because the amount of screen time spent on her is enormous in the second half, where it sort of starts feeling more like a setup film rather than a self-contained Spider-Man story, although they eventually get there in the end. I believe the biggest thing that didn't work for me was Jean straight up either almost killing people or killing people, which makes you question, is she even redeemable or is she even worth rooting for in this whole story? When the major crux of the story is for audience to accept that Jean is redeemable, and especially the conclusion after Frank shoots a bullet caught by Peter, we see Jean do what she does on Peter and just disappear in a bus, which obviously left a lot to be desired for, if I'm being honest, because it just felt that she is just sidelined as soon as her subplot is over, without a proper fixated conclusion. The entire prison hand sequence, loved it. but I can't remember a single frame that wasn't already spoiled by these trailers and TV spots, man. And talking about the ending, yeah, I loved it. I loved how this whole thing was brought to conclusion by this amazing dynamic that we have seen since the start of the movie between Frank Castle and Peter Parker. This is just one of those things that you don't know that you need, but you just love it every time you see it. Frank's expression after shooting Peter, seeing him almost shed a tear, it was painful to watch, but adorable at the same time. Especially the sequence where Frank just puts up this Spider-Man mask and starts his war chants, and that was a hilarious sight. Really got a chuckle out of me in the theater. Along with many others, of course. As someone who has followed and has been following Jon Bernthal's Punisher for a decade, it was so fresh to see this man in a tone that he was represented in this movie. Although I have seen a lot of people not agreeing with it, considering the character of Punisher became a little too goofy or Disneyfied, but I personally didn't have any problem with that. I thought it was just the perfect thing to see a little bit of happiness and smile on this man after everything he has been through, after everything we have seen him go through last 10 years as Punisher. This is the happiest he has been, and this is the most alive we have seen him in the MCU. Now, jumping on to the very last sequence, the infamous handshake scene. It was just wholesome, man. I mean, yes, they left it a little open-ended. Did he recognize Peter from his previous life? Or did he recognize the Peter MJ told him was Spider-Man in this movie? I just hope it's the first one. A bro needs his bro. And the post-credit scene? I mean, it was fine. Was it Miles Morales? Was it Tobey Maguire from Doomsday? Was it Andrew? Was it related to Spider-Verse? I don't know, man. I don't think anyone is in a position to answer that question, at least at this moment. But I'm sure we'll get these answers very soon. So yeah, just to summarize my overall thoughts on this movie, I thought it was a very well-made Spider-Man movie. Yes, it was not 100% perfect, but what I appreciate that it dared to be a little different than all the previous Spider-Man movies that we have seen before. It dared to accept the challenge of handling so many characters in a movie, and for most of the part, I think it did a very good job. Although the imperfections cannot be ignored, but those are not the things that ruined the movie for you. So, if I have to rank this among other Spider-Man movies, I would put it a little below No Way Home, because I believe the whole spectacle, grandeur, and emotional moments were executed a little better in that movie than this one. Especially the Aunt May speech and emotional moments, because it focuses too little on setting up Jean in second half. But overall, a solid Spider-Man movie, which I hope becomes its own trilogy. A solid 7.5, maybe 8 from me, because I have accepted Frank Castle as my new favorite Spider-Man. Let me know your thoughts on this movie in the comments. See ya.